Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is David Brooks, the Cadillac Counselor, coming at you to tell you a piece of my mind. And today we have another candidate for the Board of Education. Miss Veronica Lowe is here to talk about her platform, give us a little insight on her life and kind of what she could bring to the table if she gets that opportunity to support our children. So I don't want to take a lot of time in what my thoughts are because I want it to be more about her. So Veronica, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you. And I'm sorry, we had a little bit of juggling trying to schedule this interview, but we finally made it. And so, again, thank you
Yep.
for the time and the opportunity. But, I'm Veronica Lowe, and I moved to Frederick in 2006 from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And when I moved here to take on the position of Director of Transportation for Frederick County Public Schools. And so I was the director for 6.5 years. Then I went to Prince George's and I worked there for a couple of years. And then I had a couple of little jobs in between. And then I came back to Frederick as the Deputy Director of Transit Services for Frederick County government. So I've had over 32 years of transportation experience, both in public and people transportation. When I was in Michigan, that's what I did. So, like I said, it's been like 32 years, and I am currently the Deputy Director of Labor and Employee Relations for Maryland Department of Transportation, specifically Maryland Transit Administration. And I've been there for 6 years. And what I love about that is I'm still in the transportation industry, but not in operations. And so now being on the other side, I get to help mentor and coach managers and employees. Sometimes, I'll have a manager on one line and an employee on another line. And so just helping them to, resolve their issues, try to handle them at the lowest level possible. And I really like that part.
Well, I appreciate you coming on to just tell your side of how you want to handle this problem because I can
Hmm.
tell you there's several problems and some problems have been going on and some are new problems, but
Hmm.
we need somebody in there that's ready to fight for these children, and that's all I can say.
Right.
The first thing, since you're in transportation, transit, you that's your field. Let's talk about these bus drivers because
Hmm.
bus drivers, I the whole time I was running, but I had several bus drivers saying, I'm just done. I don't feel supported. The behaviors on the bus, I record it. I even I have to remove somebody from the bus, but I'm still not feeling like I'm valued. What could you bring to the table to solve this problem?
Well, it is truly, we always have said that the bus is extended part of the classroom. And so the behaviors that are expected in the classroom have to be the same behaviors that they have on the bus. And so when I was in any of the, positions, it was really having relationships with the school administrators, the teachers, and even like parents that are for drivers, parents that are bringing their kids to the corner, having a conversation with them. We've had drivers call parents and tell them, hey, this is going on, and trust and believe, the behavior changed. But most of the time when bus drivers write referrals, the teachers do follow up, but sometimes it may not be the way we want it to be.
Hmm.
And there's many reasons for that. And so you just have to stick with the process. And having relationships with children is another huge part. One of the things that I've always told bus drivers, especially at the beginning of the year at our in-service, one, you're an ambassador of the school system. You're driving that big yellow bus around that says Frederick County Public Schools, and that's like a billboard. And so your behavior has to align with the school values. Additionally, you are the first person or dog that a child may see in the morning. And so that good morning, good morning, good morning. And when they're getting off the bus, have a good day, have a good day. You know, just creating relationships with the students, I find has just been very helpful to bus drivers. I had a bus driver once, and I won't go too far off on a tangent. I'll just say one of the schools that, you know, there were a lot of behavior problems. We went there for some type of visit, and the bell rung, and the students came out, and they were like, Mrs. So-and-so, Miss Hi, hi. I mean, she had created such a relationship with these students that was just amazing. And so, and these were some of the, you know, the children that were having the most behavior problems. So, you know, it's effective when you choose to have a relationship with the children and the schools.
Very good.
Mhm.
Um, let's talk about budget. All right,
Mhm.
because we're watching, you know, the board members are requesting more money. We're seeing more students come into our districts. Um, how are we going to handle all of these new people coming into Frederick County and have a good enough budget so that we can manage this?
Well, you know, it's, you know, coming from, you know, the federal down to the state, you know, down to the county, and just being an advocate and trying to find ways to cut the budget and reduce. So when I was the director of transportation, right off the top of my head, I can't tell you how many millions of dollars we saved in fuel when we eliminated some bus stops. So that was one. We within about 5 years, we eliminated $200,000 in overtime. So, you know, with a budget, I had a budget of a little over $20 million. You know, $200,000 might not seem a lot, but it is in the grand scheme of things. And so there are several ways that you could look at ways to cut the budget and then to advocate for additional funding.
Okay. Um, a lot of people are talking about school vouchers, like the money should travel with the students, so that parents have the choice to where their money is
Mhm.
going, their tax dollars. What are your opinions on these vouchers being part or a major aspect in our county?
Well, I am a believer in public education. And so that's always going to be my first choice, my first go-to. Um, but I do see situations where there are going to be some parents that might want services or something different education for their child where they may want to move them. And so, you know, if there's vouchers available, you know, then you know, they could have them, but I'm not an advocate of vouchers. I think that I think that the school system should be able to provide the needs of the students that we, you know, in the that are in our county. And if there's additional resources that they need that are that are not within Frederick County or within the school system, then maybe we can, you know, solicit services that we may have to pay for, but not necessarily a full voucher to send them to a different school. Mhm.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, we need I mean, there's a big shortage of teachers. I mean, we're starting to see some college programs that are shutting down their educational leadership programs. A lot of people are not going to school to be teachers. They're choosing other occupations. How are you going to bring in new staff members into our district, and how are we going to even increase their pay to be of kind of like our counterparts, Montgomery County, even Washington County's paying up in their pay, how much they're paying teachers, along
Mhm.
with Howard and Carroll County. How can we even step into that realm with those and compete?
Right. Well, we're probably never going to be in Montgomery County or Howard County. We're not going to probably ever meet their salaries. But I definitely believe that teachers should be able, not just teachers, teachers and support staff should be able to earn a wage that meets the cost of living here in Frederick. And so I think that could definitely be some ways that working with the county government and working with developers, working with different businesses that would offer a variety of services to our staff, so that it might make things easier or more appealing. So, just maybe for an example, that we would get a discount from fitness centers. I know that we get a discount from Roy Rogers, things like that, that sometimes, yeah, you need the money, but the benefits are so appealing that it makes people say, well, now I'm just going to stay here. But definitely, you know, looking for ways through legislation, working with the county government, of being able to pay our staff more money.
It's going to be a major issue,
Yeah.
especially now with, I mean, you can't even get a gallon of gas for it feel, I remember back in the day, you could put $5 in the tank. Now you click and it hit five. That was a quick click, right?
Right.
So it's just money. We're just having shortages everywhere.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
tell me about, okay, we just came through a really hectic special education. Our special education really took a hit with all the stuff in the news. Um, what do you think you could bring to the table to kind of help with some of the special ed problems that are coming through Frederick?
Training. I think that a lot of training should be provided for the staff. And I believe that we need to sit down and have roundtable discussions with our staff to see what are the challenges that they face. I find a lot of times that we, sitting up high, want to make decisions for people who are sitting down low. And they can tell us best how to support them. And so that's what I would look at is, tell me what we can do to support you. And then work around that with our resources and what we believe and what fits into the policies and procedures. But I've always been an advocate of going to the frontline employees.
Sure. You said you just mentioned policies and procedures. There's been a lot of conversation about policies, especially within the 400s. A lot of gender conversations are being talked about. A lot of parent rights have been talked about because, I mean, they had like one student that I guess the parents came to school, spoke of the child's name, but it wasn't the same name that the child went by in the classroom. And so there's a lot of conversations in that. Where do you think the board is going to play a role in creating kind of the culture behind a lot of these conversations?
Well, there are a lot of, policies, as you know, already in place, and I just think that we need to enforce them. We have to stand behind those policies that we have developed. And, if they need to be tweaked, they need to be tweaked. But I think that it takes teachers and parents coming to us, letting us know what's going on in their school or their child's life so that we can look at those issues because, you know, if we don't know, we don't know. And when we find out, because, we may think one thing and it could be something totally different or we missed something. So I just really value, not only teachers' opinions, but parents, having roundtable discussions with parents and seeing their concerns and issues. You've got concerns and issues on both sides, and you just have to really look at them and say, okay, how can we either agree to disagree or meet somewhere in the middle?
There's a lot of conversation about the communication line. Some parents feel like find out first is a relic. Some people feel like they're not being supported, just in understanding what's going on in the district.
Mhm.
How can we improve the communication between the district and the community?
So, one of the things that I've thought about as I've been starting this campaign is, listening sessions and informational sessions. So if we're, implementing a new policy or procedure, going out to the community, doing presentations, meeting people where they're at, and maybe not necessarily at the schools. It could be at the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, because a lot of parents have transportation issues, and at times of the day and night that works for parents who work all different shifts. And so I think that, when you provide that for them, and even, if it's virtual, and inviting parents, that that's better than sending a piece of paper home that's going to get lost in the backpack and you're going to see it 3 weeks later. Because we
Crumpled
experienced that
up,
with my grandson.
crumpled up in the bottom of the
Right,
bag. Yeah.
my daughter will go through my grandson's backpack and it's like, uh, what is this, so yeah. But I think that um we have to find better ways to be able to communicate to our parents.
Listen, if you get the opportunity to get somebody's vote, what are they going to expect from you if you get there?
Well, they're going to expect someone who is a strong advocate, someone who is very resourceful, someone who is very knowledgeable, someone who isn't afraid to ask, isn't afraid to speak up, um, and to ask the tough questions, somebody who is going to be a listener, someone that um, um, will make sure that everybody's needs are being met to some degree. I don't believe in making employees feel uncomfortable, nor children, nor parents. I want to be an advocate. I want to be that voice for parents, for our support staff, for our children. And I know that's a lot. It says a lot, but I just think that we owe it to our children to be that support for them. And so I feel like, my campaign, part of it is SIP, to support um, inclusive partnership and parental engagement. And so if we do that, when we work with teachers and support staff, it helps to support our children, every child, every day. And we create an inclusive environment and we engage our partnerships and our parents.
Well, I will just tell you this. I appreciate you coming on to discuss a couple of the pretty much hotter topics that people would like to hear about. And
Hmm.
and I wish that you just go out there and give it all you got,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
there's 17 people running, and there's 7 people that got a voice. And so
Right.
there's going to be a lot of
Absolutely.
squeaky wheels.
Yeah, it has been really uh, mind blowing, all the support that I've gotten thus far. I didn't get in until the last day, and so some have been campaigning since November and December. And just the people that come up to me and say, thank you for doing this. I'm so proud of you. We need you, because they know I'm a strong advocate for anything that I choose to do, but especially children. When my daughter was growing up, her friends would come over, I'd take them places, and their parents knew that if they were with me, they were okay. And even now, my grandson, all his friends are always here, and their parents know if they're here, we're going to take care of them just like we would him. And so all kids are mine. And of course, they come with a grandmother's perspective.
Well, I thank you and I appreciate you coming on and doing this interview with me.
Well, thank you for having me.
No problem.
All righty. Have a good evening.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.